Over the past few days, I've been out and about testing out a brand new product by Freewell Gear for the DJI Osmo Pocket and the Pocket 2. So what have I been testing? So I've been going out testing this kit here. This is brand new by Freewell Gear, and this is a anamorphic wide-angle lens with a difference. So let's get into it. So let's look at the kit in more detail then. So these are the ND filters down at the bottom. That's your anamorphic and that's your wide angle. Naturally, you get both of them because you might not want that cinematic black bars. You might not want the lens flares, so you can just use the single wide angle on its own. So if you don't know what an anamorphic lens does already, then generally here is the lowdown. An anamorphic lens for the DJI Osmo Pocket will give you absolutely natural cinematic look footage out of the box. Effectively, pop that in and you're going to get cinematic footage. And how is it going to do that? Well, simply, it is going to give you those natural black bars that we are used to seeing in cinema. And it is also, because this is a bit of an Achilles heel with the DJI Osmo Pocket, especially, the Pocket 2 is a little bit better, it gives you a much wider field of view, hence it being a wide angle lens also. So what does that mean? Well, that means you're going to be able to fit absolutely more data and more image into the screen to get that nice widescreen look. So at the minute I'm using the wide angle lens which comes as part of the packet on its own, and as you can see I have so much more field of view compared to normal. Now let me just quickly take that off. You can see that reduces significantly. So, you know, for vlogging is really just me as the subject. Let's quickly put that back on. And there you go, that opens up massively. Now, traditionally, the problem is that if you are editing most photos or videos in post and you are not using an anamorphic lens, effectively all you are doing is you are just literally chopping off the top and the bottom of the image, and that's not really good because then you're missing out on what you were supposed to be able to see originally. Whereas using one of these, you get the full image that you are anticipating and what the full image that you are filming, but yet you also get those nice cinematic lines as well. What else do they do? Well, secondly, one of the nicest features of these is you get blue lens flares. Blue lens flares are absolutely beautiful, and they occur with light during day and night. You can see some examples of this on screen now. So what makes this piece of kit so different? Well, the fact that they now come with ND filtration. Now, what is an ND filter? An ND filter is a neutral density filter and effectively acts like a pair of sunglasses for your camera. Now, if you are familiar with shooting cinematic footage, not only do you want that nice wide angle effect, not only do you want those nice blue cinematic flares, and not only do you want your black bars at the top and bottom, you also want cinematic motion blur. In order to achieve that cinematic motion blur close to what your eye sees naturally and what is the accepted standard in cinema, you should set your frame rate at 24 frames per second and your shutter speed at double your frame rate. So if you was filming in 24, you should set it at 48 if your camera has that option. If not, just select the closest one, such as 50. So if you are familiar with this process already, the trouble is if you lower your shutter speed in order to gain that correct amount of motion blur, your image traditionally is going to be stupidly overexposed, too bright and completely unusable. The original anamorphic lenses don't actually block out any light whatsoever. So whilst they may give you the nice black bars and wide angle lenses, and they might give you the cinematic flares, you know, blue flares, which are absolutely beautiful, they don't really allow you to set your shutter speed low enough to actually achieve this cinematic motion blur. Whereas this piece of kit does absolutely everything. You get your wide angle, you get your anamorphic, and you got your ND properties. So this comes with an ND8, ND16, ND32, and ND64. So let's have a look at how to fit a ND filter then. So we have our anamorphic, our wide angle, and our set of NDs. So let's take our wide angle. Now, as you can see there is two slots, and that is where the ND filter slots into. So let's quickly put that down. One thing to note is try and not get any fingerprints on here at all because it will ruin your footage. Thankfully, Freewell do give us a nice little cloth. So let's take our ND32, just spin it round. And then let's take our lens. As you can see, it simply slots in there. There we go, nice and simple. And then all we need to do now is simply slot it on the camera. So effectively, that's going to allow you to do what I've just mentioned. It's going to block out that light, and you've got various options with which to be able to block them out as well. So traditionally, on a bright sunny day, you might want to pop it up to an ND16 or ND32, but it's purely determined by the look you want to get. The easiest way to do this is just flick between the lenses and just see which one makes your footage look absolutely the best and what you want it to be. So to summarize then, is this kit worth buying? Well, I think it is absolutely a must-have for anybody with a DJI Osmo Pocket. This has absolutely transformed my footage and what I can get in my uses with this Osmo Pocket that I have personally. And actually, I'm using this to film this vlog. So if you do have the Osmo Pocket or the Pocket 2, this is really, really a good piece of kit to have. I mean, I kind of feel that without trying to make this into too much of a sales pitch, I feel that Freewell possibly have given it a wrong name. I kind of feel it should be called the Creator Combo because that's exactly what it gives you. It gives you the ability to have the wide angle lens just for general vlogging, give you that wider field of view. You get the anamorphic lens, which is absolutely perfect for, you know, creating that cinematic footage. And then if you do want to get the motion blur, you've got the ND filters, which of course you can pop into the back of the anamorphic or the wide angle to give you that motion blur. I mean, it's just absolutely spot on. I can't think of a better kit for the Osmo Pocket than this, to be perfectly honest. If you do decide that you want this piece of kit, there will be a link in the description below where you can go buy a set for yourself. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video. If you found it really, really useful, please give it a big thumbs up. It really is appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Thank you very much for watching and see you again soon.